Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Brand new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Banyan Printing, your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 45 years. Banyan Printing's new metallic ink press adds that extra shine so that your product comes out in glossy gold, sparkling silver, or any other color you want to shine. Banyan Printing is the official printer of Kaiser Athletics and would love to be your official printing partner as well. Order products and learn more about what Banyan Printing can do for your business at banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen, and ESPN 106.3 is all hoops and helmets this week. Tonight, LeBron and the Lakers head to South Beach for a matchup with your Miami Heat. Pre-game coverage begins at 7. Legacies are built, champions rise, and history is made right here on ESPN 106.3.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
A midweek edition of Russo and Rizzo live here on ESPN 106.3. Good afternoon, everybody. Colin Russo here. Join alongside me, Mike Rizzo, of course, Christian Cat behind the glass. It's National Signing Day throughout the world of college football. Number of players in the local Palm Beach County area flipping, making commitments, last second staying here. Whole lot of fun there. We had a lot of coverage earlier in the day. Go catch it at ESPN West Palm or at ESPN Top 63 on X, on our Instagram at ESPN West Palm, or you could go and tune into the live stream and see our pretty faces on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitter, however you want to say it, at ESPN West Palm. It's a lovely Wednesday afternoon here in early December, and we are inching closer, speaking of college football, not from the recruiting side of things, but to the playoff side of things, as the College Football Playoff Committee had officially announced their final mock projection before conference championship week comes up this weekend. And a couple glaring things were very apparent, and based on all the questions that were coming in regard to how they would handle the SEC, and most notably Miami, now that they lost their second game of the year to Syracuse over the weekend. And the one thing that the committee made abundantly clear is that South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Miami are eliminated. And it is Alabama that is going to be that final shoe-in spot, barring that Clemson-SMU game. Mm-hmm. That is what was made abundantly clear.
Yeah, and South Carolina, 3 losses. Alabama, 3 losses. Like, I'm sorry, Bama, don't lose to unranked Oklahoma.
But Bama's going to get the bid now anyway. So,
but at the same time, like, Alabama fans are, I feel like, complaining that they're so low on the list. It's just the entitlement by Bama fans is crazy to me sometimes. But I don't think did anything surprising happen? Maybe outside of Miami, on the outside looking in, Colin, I look at that top 25 and I just go, it's pretty on par. I thought Tennessee would be higher than the Buckeyes, but apparently the 2 wins against Penn State and Indiana are better than that Alabama win, which makes sense because Bama with the 3 losses and being lower than those teams. Nothing really stood out to me. Nothing really stood out to me.
Well, here's what stood out that was surprising to me is I thought they would throw Miami a bone.
No.
Really? Well, think about this. If you're the committee, you now have to explain to everybody why Alabama is going to get that bid amongst the other SEC teams. And instead, they could have avoided all of this and avoided the rah-rah that's going to be surrounded by this decision on the group of 3 of the 3 SEC teams that lost 3 games, which is South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Alabama. The committee had an opportunity to avoid that altogether and to keep Miami in that game into that 12 spot. It gives them a little bit of leeway in terms of changing it up. Maybe that they didn't play SMU or Clemson, and maybe they don't think the ACC is good. It gives them a little bit of leeway. But instead, because Miami now doesn't play a game the rest of the year, neither is South Carolina, neither is Ole Miss, neither is Alabama, that's essentially locked in. And to me, I don't think Miami should have gotten a bid over Alabama. Alabama had a harder schedule, one more loss. There's a level to it, I understand. But in terms of selling a game, you don't think 5-12 Notre Dame-Miami would have been a great game that everybody would have gotten into? That game probably would have been the primetime game. So from that, I think there was a missed opportunity there, and there's probably a little Bama fatigue in me that is a little sick of it. But the real interest, I thought, came from what the committee said after the fact. And they said that the Clemson-SMU game, which is basically the only game this weekend that has really any sort of major implications, and they said that if Clemson wins this game and steals a bid, however you want to call it, that SMU is not necessarily protected in the playoff. So that's a surprise. Hold on, let me get this straight. So SMU, who lost one game in the regular season, advanced to their conference championship game, playing an extra game over all of the other bubble teams sitting in the 10 through 15 range. Now all of a sudden they're going to get punished for playing the extra game. It's in the realm of possibility that SMU gets punished because they have to play an extra game at a neutral site against a ranked team. That is what I'm hearing. Instead of Alabama, who is sitting at home, 3 weeks removed from a terrible loss to Oklahoma, now all of a sudden Bama is the beneficiary of that? That's the problem. That's the bad precedent.
Kyle, the justification is they beat Georgia. And the justification for the SMU thing is the best one they have on the schedule is Louisville.
No, but that has nothing to do. SMU is already ranked ahead of Alabama right now. So if they're already rank Alabama ahead of SMU today. That's the case. This is talking about there's one of the two sides is actually playing a football game, and they're deciding that whether or not we're going to favor SMU or not is dependent on if they win this extra game, and Bama will just be the beneficiary and get to sit and watch when they're probably in regardless. That, to me, is the bad precedent that you're trying to establish.
And this goes back to the fascination we had of, are these conference championship games going to matter? And I think the answer now is a bona fide yes. Too much has happened. I think in the committee's eyes, too many teams that were supposed to, quote-unquote, win and go to the conference championship did not. Like Miami, Ohio State, the Big 12, Colin, is a mess. So the justification, I know you're probably not going to like it, but the justification is going to be a 2-loss SMU, and their best win against Louisville does not get in over a Alabama team who beat Georgia, who's playing for an SEC championship. Do I think it's fair?
Alabama's not playing. Hold on, Alabama's not playing for an SEC championship game. They're not even playing a game. That's my problem with it. They're not even playing in a game, and they're going to be able to benefit off that. Why should SMU play in that game? Why should they? Shouldn't they just sit with their one loss, disqualify, forfeit? What's the logic behind that? You want these television networks to feel like they're getting a good bang for their buck with these conference championship games, which they pay a fortune for, and all of a sudden you're going to punish a team and make one half basically reluctant to play because I know it's a quitter's mentality, but still, why does that help them in the long run, playing the game?
Yeah, you're right. College, it comes down to entertainment, baby. Right?
No, but
don't you want to watch mighty Alabama?
But it's a completely ridiculous precedent. I understand Miami. Miami's didn't make the conference championship game. They're not getting rewarded because they didn't finish top 2 in the ACC, and they have 2 losses in that god-awful conference. To two solid teams. We'll get to Miami in a second. Georgia Tech's a solid team. And Georgia Tech had a tough schedule. They played Notre Dame, played Georgia. That team was better than the 8 wins that they had.
Battled against Georgia, too.
That team was better than the 8 wins they had. So that, in my head, that's a quality loss. They lost to a Syracuse team that won 9 games. It's not that bad of a schedule. Syracuse was solid. That's another thing another day. But the point is, SMU is now going to get punished because they're a smaller market, smaller brand. I get that. But they're playing the extra game. It should be abundantly clear that if you're considering a team that is not playing, I understand if it's both sides. If there are 2 conference championship games and 3 of the 4 made it, I understand using that game to determine who gets in and who doesn't. That makes a lot of sense because both teams play. But one team is straight up not even playing. That, to me, should not determine whether who's going to be that final shoo-in. That's stupid.
It's similar to last year with Florida State, right? An undefeated Florida State. And the committee they did a kind of a half you-know-what job of explaining why Florida State didn't make it. We all know it's because they didn't have an offense and their quarterback got hurt. And this time around, it's going to be, would you rather watch the Crimson Tide go against the Fighting Irish in South Bend, or would you rather watch SMU, a team with 2 losses in the ACC, go up against Notre Dame and then have to listen to the backlash of the mighty Alabama fans saying, why is SMU in in a horrible ACC conference with 2 losses.
Yeah, but
That's what it is.
But they can't say that because there's no point. Because one team, there shouldn't be an argument. Bama should be thanking the gods that they're in because they're 3 losses. 3 losses, period. That's a you're lucky to be in scenario. And it's not that we deserve it more than this. I understand that we deserve it over the South Carolinas and the Ole Misses of the world, but this is a dangerously bad precedent. And I'd even take the argument for Miami making that spot. But Alabama, you're talking about quality of losses here. Oklahoma, god-awful, ugly. Vanderbilt, we thought it was a decent win. They played teams pretty tough. Not as great as a win as we thought it was a month and a half ago. Or loss, I should say. Yeah, they have Georgia. I know. So does Ole Miss. So Ole Miss has Georgia, but it doesn't matter to them, but Alabama does, so we should give Alabama, the keys to the castle? What, they beat Mizzou? Mizzou is awful.
They're bad.
Mizzou is awful.
Yeah. And they were supposed to be part of this. Before the year, I talked to a Missouri fan, an alum, and he goes, Riz, if we don't make the playoff, it's a disgrace. Those were the expectations set by Missouri fans.
They were lucky to finish ranked.
Agreed.
Unbelievable. But this is the precedent that they're setting. Why should these teams want to stay in the ACC? If you're the NCAA, if you're the College Football Playoff Committee, why should they want to stay in the ACC when you're playing? The same argument happened last year with Florida State. It was a 14 playoff. That is a completely different ballgame to me. This is so much different. Why should they want to stay in the ACC if that's how they're going to be treated? 2
of their high-profile teams already, Miami and Florida State, have gripes with the ACC as well. But you astutely pointed out that it doesn't matter because there's millions of dollars at stake with TV contracts or whatever. They could scream till the cows come home. They're still a part of this for how long those TV deals are intact. But it's the SEC favoritism. And as a Buckeye fan, I kiss the ground because of it. The Big Ten favoritism as well. I'm happy Ohio State doesn't have a 3rd loss and not in a situation like Alabama.
The only argument that Alabama deserves to get that last spot if Clemson wins that game and steals that bid is that SMU Notre Dame is, let's just put it this way, it's not going to do a great rating. Right. It might be a decent game.
That's why I asked you.
Not going to do a great rating.
Who would you rather watch, Bama and the Irish or what are they, Mustangs? The Mustangs and the Irish.
But I agree. That's another, there's intrigue. To me, I'd watch either game, so there's no problem with me there.
Okay.
But to the common fan, that Alabama is a little bit more allure. Going to the South Bend, 2 historic programs. That's why Miami had the same argument. But in terms of establishing a precedent, this is the first year of the 12-team playoff. So you have a tricky opportunity, I should say, to establish a precedent that's going to be long-lasting. And if the precedent you want to set is you shouldn't really look to play in these conference championship games if you could avoid it, if that's the precedent you are trying to set for the SEC school that can get in with 3 losses, not play in their championship game, and still benefit, that's a risky and a poor precedent to set if you're the College Football Playoff.
You asked me, is it going to come down to win-loss or is it going to come down to strength of schedule? And I'm convinced it's strength of schedule at this point. If SMU does lose, let's say what you're talking about comes to fruition. If SMU does lose and Alabama gets in, we could firmly say it's strength of schedule, right? Firmly.
But the way I look at it is, I don't even look at it as strength of schedule because one team is playing an extra game. They have an additional game on the schedule. So I understand the point. You're right. It is probably the strength of schedule argument.
Strength of wins.
But one team is playing an extra game. Why should they play the extra game if they're going to? It's either they stay where they are, or they get acts to the detriment of them. Why should they do that?
You think they'll keep SMU out? Best guess. I know we could only
if they lose 55-0.
All right.
We'll reconsider.
They won't lose. And listen,
but if they lose in a 24-20 game, how do you leave them out?
Mm-hmm. And this is the Mike Rizzo kiss of death. But I'm pretty sure they're not going to lose 55-0, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be an all right game. I'm praying as a football fan.
I think Clemson's going to show up and play really, really hard that game.
And Dabo knows how to coach in a big game.
Yeah, Clemson's going to be motivated. They know they stole that opportunity, and they're going to want to play spoiler. That's going to be a very dangerous game for SMU, which is part of the reason why I'm defending them.
And I know I buried Dabo and Clemson when they lost to Georgia. The reason I buried them, I just didn't think they were a top team, and it turns out they weren't. But things went their way. Miami lost some games they weren't supposed to lose, and here we are. And that's also, like, we talk about the cons of playing in the ACC. Another pro of playing in the ACC is having the amount of losses that Clemson does and having it come down to being a one-game showdown to see who gets in and gets that automatic bid. They had a bad year. Call it for what it is. Clemson had a bad year, but they still have a chance to be in that 12-team playoff.
They're given a gift. They're given a gift. So, and that's part of the reason why you expand the playoff and why you make the automatic bid for winning the conference championship is so you could have, I don't want to say Cinderella because Clemson's not a Cinderella, but that type of team that could steal a bid.
And I feel like if what we're talking about does come to fruition again, the committee is telling SMU one thing in my mind: win. Win. We don't want to hear you complain if you lose this game. Win. Win the game.
But that's why I can't take that seriously because they don't say that to the SEC teams.
Well, it's that biased.
Hold on. On one end, it's biased, and on the other end, win to the ACC?
Yeah.
That's why you don't play.
And
that's why you don't
remember
play.
the report of the SEC and the Big Ten asking for 4 guaranteed spots in the college football playoff. Are we already there? That's my question. Are we already there? Like, how many SEC teams? Let's forget about these past rankings, Colin. Say SMU loses. How many SEC teams are going to get in? Is it going to be 3? Is it going to be 4?
If SMU does not get in, it's going to be 4. Yeah.
We're already there then.
Sure. I understand that.
We're already there.
I don't understand the logic behind it. One team is playing an additional game. The other team is not. So Bam is the beneficiary of another team playing an additional game in a tight, neutral site environment against a ranked team, a highly ranked team at that. And if they lose, when they have a better record, they had 1 loss coming out of the regular season. At the same point in the season, one team had 3 losses, the other team had 1. Now we're going to punish the other one for playing an extra game and losing that one? That, to me, does not make any sense.
SMU loses, they're out. Next year, similar situation with whatever godforsaken conference. Does that team go, nope, we're refusing to play? Could you see something like that?
No, I'm more just saying, floating the idea, it's a quitter's mentality.
Okay.
I'm floating the idea that just in hindsight, why would you want to play in that game? For an ACC banner? Who cares? Doesn't make any difference.
You know what?
Why should you want to play in that game?
I care about the Big Ten champion. I am that loser fan. I wanted to win the Big Ten this year. And I feel like Miami fans wanted to win the ACC for the first time in a long time as well.
Yeah, I guess the comparison I could possibly give is if Penn State loses this game, they'll drop below. They're going to drop far below Ohio State. Ohio State won head-to-head. It might be a little different of a situation, but what if they didn't play? Mm-hmm. Then Penn State loses and drops below Ohio State. Why? Because they played the extra game? I understand it's a little different because they played head-to-head, but that's not the situation we're dealing with. They didn't play head-to-head at SMU and Alabama. That, to me, a major problem in the discrepancy in terms of the college football playoff rankings that were released yesterday. Miami, South Carolina, Ole Miss effectively eliminated, and it's going to be the Alabama, SMU, Clemson show fighting for 2 spots, and we'll see who comes out on top of that after the ACC championship game, which will be this weekend, this Saturday. I believe an 8 p.m. kick on that one. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. On the flip side of things, we want to open up the phone lines, 888-760-3776. That's the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. Did the committee set a proper precedent here? Should we be, kicking SMU to the curb here for playing an extra game because they had a better regular season than Alabama did? Let us know. Or did Miami get screwed here? 2 losses against 2 good teams, 2 very underrated teams on the national scale. Did they get screwed? Only 2 regular season losses and a Heisman hopeful at quarterback. 888-760-3776. We continue the program next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen for the Accident Attorneys, Anajar and Levine. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Did you get injured on the job? Workers' comp problems? My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. Remember, they do not get paid unless you get paid. and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation you know you deserve. Here's what you do. You just call. Call Anajar and Levine for your absolutely free consultation. Do not settle for just any attorneys. Demand Anajar and Levine, and demand the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to begin to take back control of your life. So do that. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
Holiday season at Duffy's Sports Grill means holiday features galore. Savor Duffy's limited time holiday menu with new crab stuffed mushrooms, seafood pasta, salmon Oscar, and mahi Oscar. Plus, famous holiday drinks like Jack Apple New Fashioned and a peppermint martini. Now, through New Year's Eve, score a $20 MVP bonus for every $100 in Duffy's gift cards you purchase. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Squeeze this in quickly. The Jacksonville Jaguars announced that Trevor Lawrence is going to be placed on IR after sustaining a head injury against the Houston Texans on Sunday, effectively ending his season. I'd be shocked if we saw him again. So he is done for the year. That first overall pick just got a whole lot more interesting. You're going to have a bunch of teams who don't have quarterbacks. It's basically the Giants, the Raiders, the Jaguars fighting for that, I guess, the golden number one spot. But no,
yeah, go ahead, C-Cat. Go ahead. I'll give you permission.
Have a quarterback.
No, I know, but I'm saying for the rest of the year.
Hey, hang on. I told Colin this yesterday. He didn't want to hear it. Travis Hunter sweepstakes for the Jags.
Well, I think that if I had to put money somewhere, Travis Hunter would probably be that pick for Jacksonville. But yeah, I mean, we don't need to mock draft now. But the other two teams need quarterbacks long term.
Is the Silver Fox Doug Peterson going to be around?
No, probably not. Probably not. That was Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo here. Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, a Wednesday edition. Early December, National Signing Day officially for the high school area sports and throughout the country as basically every player known to man is flipping left and right.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, sorry to cut you off, partner, Kamari Williams of Palm Beach Central, he did the flip. God, we had a flip today. He was supposed to be on Sam Pittman's Arkansas Razorbacks coming up next year. And he took the microphone, and he didn't have much to say before signing the paper. And everyone's like, all right, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, the music plays. He takes off his blue shirt he had on and threw on the Louisville shirt and gave the L's. Apparently, if you're going to Louisville, you do the L's. It was fun. I got to interview him after. I asked him how it felt to, be committed to Louisville and, Lamar Jackson being an alumni from there. And he told me, the young man, and God bless his confidence, the young man told me he's trying to be better than Lamar. So he's setting his standards high, to say the least. It was a lot of fun. I did not expect to flip. Our program director and content director, Brian Rowitz, goes, yeah, Riz, they're all pretty locked in, probably not going to be, anything crazy. And sure enough, man, Kamari Williams brought the heat going to Louisville.
The flipping has become such a common, I guess, practice now in the recruiting trail. Christian Cat, of course, and I did a little National Signing Day special from 12 to 2 today. We interviewed a slew of people, including Aaron Henry, the defensive coordinator of Illinois, who was recruiting pretty heavily in the area. And he alluded to the fact that, like, recruiting is not over until that pen hits that paper. And that is the nature of what it is. As Mike just alluded to, with Kamari Williams from Palm Beach Central right here in Palm Beach County, you could stop on a dime. Goodbye. Or till that pen hits that paper. Yeah. You are not locked in any sense. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I guess, is up to interpretation.
The Buckeyes lost. We were supposed to say this was supposed to be the year of the secondary for the Buckeyes in the recruiting trail, and went on over to Oregon. So that was a little bittersweet today. But the Buckeyes did get a five-star running back to flip from Bama. And thank God TJ Alford decided to stay with the Buckeyes. There was a report out there, rather, that he was going to be going to Miami. So I was pretty happy to see that.
Kids like the attention.
Is that right?
They like the gasps. They like going viral. They like to make headlines, and staying committed with the same school for 6 months and then eventually signing a piece of paper.
It's almost like it's boring.
Yes,
yeah.
It's exceptionally boring. But when you get gasps and you're on 1-3 Sports, you're talked about on ESPN West Palm, it feels kind of good.
It is a game of leverage, too.
By the way, I do want to say Kamari Williams, I think he's rated better than a 3-star personally. I was at their Wellington game. He made a catch over like 3 defenders at midfield before half, and I go, whoa, that's some outerly world talent right there. And sure enough, one of their coaches pulled me aside and said, yeah, he's going to Arkansas. So, well, now Louisville.
Yeah, what do you know?
Yeah. Now Louisville.
Shifts from the SEC to the ACC, playing for Jeff Brom and the Louisville. That should be interesting there, the Cardinals. It's reflective to me of a bigger problem. But it's a fun little day
hang on.
gasps.
I'm going to dissect that a bit. What's the problem?
It's leverage. It's they're asking for a bigger check and stealing guys left and right. I don't think it's a problem that this is the nature of recruiting.
Right.
But imagine if you're a college coach and you're in the midst of re-recruiting your entire roster because all of them are half out the door the second the season ends, and then you got to stay on top of these high schoolers that are getting a call from every coach in America. I pity the collegiate coaches that have to deal with this. I really do.
Dude,
this is no fun.
It was when Jeremiah Smith said he was coming to Ohio State, Ryan Day could have kissed the floor, I think. Apparently, he was really close to going to Miami, and I remember watching the video of Day and his reaction. I just started crying, laughing. Like, you're right, dude. Who would want to? Now, the money, Colin, the money.
Coaches that have to deal with that.
You want to be a coach because of the money, but I do not envy them on that part.
Very, very tricky spot because that's the big problem with it. You're re-recruiting your entire roster. Your coaches are getting poached left and right. You have to recruit the guys for next year on top of keeping the guys this year, basically until that pen hits that paper and it's signed, sealed, delivered. It's a major problem. I don't know. It needs to be regulated. I understand this is a little different. Signing day, it should be for the kids and having a good time and announcements and the whole thing. But it just makes me think about the whole general scale of recruiting and where it's turning.
So much different. Like, even when I was in high school back in 2013, eons ago, like, it was just so much different. And to your point, it's, the NIL changing a lot of things. And I'm all for the players getting paid. Absolutely. They deserve it. But at the same time, if you're one of those head coaches, man, you're glued to your phone while also worried about possibly playing in a conference championship game.
Yeah, you have a game this week, too.
Yeah, put yourself in, sorry, I said Ryan Day, loser. Dan Lanning, for instance, Dan Lanning, who had a 5-star flip to him today, he's probably glued to his phone while watching tape or something, trying to prepare for the big one.
Ridiculous. College Football Playoff Committee came out yesterday, announced a slew of things, including the fact that Ole Miss, Alabama's in, but Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Miami effectively eliminated due to the fact that they do not play any more games remaining on their schedule. It is going to be a race for the Final Four spots of that kind of college football playoff that's really not decided yet. It's going to be the winner of that Arizona State-Iowa State game. It's going to be the winner of that Clemson-SMU game. And then one of Alabama or SMU. It remains to be seen who will steal that spot. I have a problem if it's not SMU unless they get absolutely dominated in the game and leave no choice. But that is neither here nor there with the college football season. The regular season in full closure for the most part as we await the conference championship week. And the one thing that comes at this point of the year is Heisman talk. And the Heisman consideration has been sort of a peculiar one because you don't really have anything to compare it to. Because on one hand, you have a running back out of Boise State who doesn't play in a Power 4 conference, but in terms of stats, compiling stats, impact on a playoff team needs to be noted, and basically having one of the best rushing seasons that we've seen in the last 15, 20 years. And he's one finalist. And on the other end of things, you have Travis Hunter of Colorado, who on a pretty good team has put himself in a position where there's nothing really to compare him to because he plays both ends. He was able to accumulate some interceptions, pass defense, tackles. But on top of that, he was a All-American level receiver. So in terms of that Heisman consideration, where do we even lean on that? And Mike, I want to ask you, and Christian Cat, I want to ask you as well, pose the question. At this point, we haven't talked about it much. This Heisman consideration, where do you even go?
I don't even think it's close. I think it's Junti. When you run for over 2,000 yards and have over 25 rushing touchdowns, unless you're playing Division II football and not FBS 1, you deserve to be the Heisman. And they've had high-profile games. He played well against Oregon. Oregon's the number 1 team in the country. So it's not like he was just doing this against a bunch of janitors, all right? I'm going with John T. Collin because if you run for over 2,000 in a Power 5, and I know it's not necessarily Power 5, but in a group of 5, as they call it now, conference, you deserve to be the Heisman Trophy winner. Let's not forget, his game against Oregon, 192 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Mighty Ducks. Give me John T.
The one thing, T-Cat, let's go to you first before I get my thoughts.
I'm also with Riz here. I did not appreciate the stat padding at the end of Colorado's season.
I didn't either appreciate
where it's
that.
like there's a reason why they took Ashton Jeanty out of the game is because they're trying to win the football game, keep him healthy, and they have bigger goals in mind rather than just getting this single individual award. They're trying to win a championship. Colorado didn't have the chance to do that anymore, so they left their starters in when it was a blowout already. It looked desperate, and they are trying to butter up all the Heisman voters by sending them.
Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, so
the care package that Colorado sent.
Yes, Colorado's PR team, I guess, sent out to all Heisman voters, as Colin mentioned, a care package that is titled Heismen, plural, Heismen, which completely takes away the validity to the case for Travis Hunter. Because it says men for 2 people, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. You both can't be that important to your team if you're both Heisman competitors. So that did the bidding for Boise State. Give me Ashton Jeanty 10 times out of 10.
And a lot of people, Colin, I've heard go, well, Rashad Penny wasn't a Heisman Trophy consideration back in 2017 when he ran for 2,000 yards as well. I think it's different. Like San Diego State, Boise State is more of a program, no offense to my Aztec fans that are listening, than San Diego State. And he did it in a big-time game as well against Oregon. I think that Oregon game helps him tremendously. The fact that he had 3 touchdowns and almost 200 yards.
All right, so we haven't even considered the fact, what about Travis Hunter being a two-way player? C-Cat didn't like the fact that he stat padded on the receiving end. You can't stat pad defensively. So let's erase that. We know he's a great corner. That we could all acknowledge. On the receiving end, you can stat pad. That's fair. And they totally did towards the end of the game when they blew it. Was it Oklahoma State they blew out? Yeah. Completely blew them out to go to 9-3. Completely agree there. It didn't look great. But there's also something to be said that he is having a 1-of-1 season. Nobody has ever had that level of dual threat offense, defense impact as him. They were still a good team. They won 9 games. So there's an argument there. And the one thing I'll give in terms of the running back position, if he is so impressive with he's got 28 touchdowns, whatever the numbers are.
28.
Melvin Gordon rushed for 2,600 yards and had 32 touchdowns in 2014. Did he win the Heisman? No. Was he in the Big Ten? Yes.
Did a quarterback win that year? What year was it?
It was Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, so no quarterback in contention, so I think that's why.
You think that has a lot to do with it? I mean, in terms of the rushing stats, I think that season specifically is
Christian.
Swept under the rug.
And can I add another layer? Oregon was a powerhouse that year. That Chip Kelly team went to the national championship and lost to the Buckeyes.
Well, what about Oregon this year?
Lost
Dylan Gabriel's being thrown around. What about him?
Lost to the Buckeyes.
Well, I mean,
but good point. I mean, I personally think when it's this specific year of you don't have a quarterback, we all agree it's a quarterback award, right? We all agree on
I
that.
don't.
I guess not, because a quarterback's not going to get it this year.
Yeah, right.
When you,
So I
but the
can't
point,
agree to it.
the point I'm trying to make is when a quarterback isn't quote unquote in contention and apparently doesn't fall under the guidelines of the Heisman Trophy Committee.
So when a quarterback is deserving, a quarterback wins. But when a quarterback's not deserving, a quarterback does not win.
Now you're just making fun of me. But at this point, 28 touchdowns, 2,200 yards for Junty. You're going to see him in the college football playoff. I played the game. What I used to do with LeBron, because I used to get in arguments with my buddy, I said, you give LeBron the MVP every year. The game I used to play is take LeBron off of his team and take the other guy off of his team who's worst off. I think if you take Junty off of Boise, it messes things up more than if you were to take Travis Hunter off of Colorado. And I know you guys are probably going to get all over me for that because he's a two-way player.
He's a two-way player, and he's an elite two-way player.
But I truly think without Junty, they can't do what they've done all year long, and that's been a powerhouse in the Mountain West Conference and give Oregon a game.
He's also not the best receiver on his team, Travis Hunter. I believe his name's Horn,
Jimmy Horn.
H-O-R-N-E. Might be a better receiver.
Hunter is a great receiver. But the thing, I understand that, but you're not arguing that he should be the top receiver in the country and the top corner in the country. You should be arguing that he is great at both.
Wow, if he's that good at the sport of football, his team must be in the college football playoff. All right, no, if not.
Yeah,
they must
better
be playing
team.
this
Good
weekend.
point.
That's
C-Cat.
the best argument of all of them, that he is on there is one on a playoff team and there's one that is not.
You don't like the argument of taking Junty off of Boise and taking Hunter off of...
Because Hunter is two major positions offensively and defensively. That team is that team does not win 9 games without Travis Hunter. And you could say the same thing with Boise State not winning 11 games with Junty. It's not a quantifiable way of looking at it, in my opinion, because how do you judge impact on a running back versus a corner/receiver hybrid? How do you quantify that? You can't just do it off of, I think that they will win less games because they don't lose this guy. You can't say it like that. The way I look at it is from on-the-field impact. If there's an argument to Junty, and I'm sort of indifferent on, I'm just playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, is with Junty, I agree. One's a playoff side team, and he's had a top 3 rushing season since Barry Sanders 40 years ago. And the way I brought up Melvin Gordon is there's somewhat of a precedent there. I know he's had better seasons than Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry and those Heisman winners, but there have been running backs in the past that, not screwed, but are shorthanded in the award due to a great otherworldly season. Are we saying that what Travis Hunter did for Colorado is not a great or an otherworldly season? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
I disagree with that. Let's be fair.
It's a great season. Otherworldly?
Yes!
I could see this happen on this planet again.
Agreed.
What?
Agreed.
Eventually, yeah.
Say it on the other end. Say that about Junty. That's something we've actually seen before.
To Colin's point, 2 rushers in the last 10 years had more yards than him in Rashad Penny and Melvin Gordon. But I don't and C-Cat, hold on. C-Cat,
you're going to see that again
C-Cat,
on the rushing side of things.
You started it off by you don't appreciate the parading by Colorado. I'm the same way. Don't force
the PR
this
machine. They are the sexiest brand right now.
Don't force. Why?
There's an argument.
Why are they and that's another thing. Like,
but the Heisman voters won't take that into consideration. At least in my opinion.
I want to tread carefully here because I love Deion Sanders. My show in Peoria was called Primetime in Peoria. And God, did I try to get Deion Sanders on that show. Declined. But at the same time, like, it's only the brand because of Prime. And the only reason I think Travis Hunter is absurdly went to Heisman conversations is because of that brand. Would you agree on that?
No.
You think this would happen? You think if he played for
Louisville?
Louisville?
Hold on. If he played both ways at Louisville, yeah.
If he played for Louisville,
no.
I'm with you on that.
If he was an elite player both ways,
with you on that.
No chance what?
No.
No chance what? A Heisman consideration?
Put him out South Carolina. Put him out South Carolina who has 3 losses this year. He's not invited.
All right, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If that's the case, then why hasn't this happened in other schools? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's just because he's gotten more notoriety for it. Give me a reason. Give me a reason other than he's not going to have notoriety off the field. It's Shador that's benefiting off that because he's the one who plays into it. Hunter does not play into it nearly as much other than the Heisman, the celebration after a touchdown. Big deal. If there was an elite two-way player, which there hasn't been and there never has been, on a college football Power 4 team, they would be invited to New York. That, you should bury that, and the thought that even the opposite would ever be considered. If there was an elite two-way player, and you can't say it wouldn't be because there never has been. You can't say Jabril Peppers. You can't say Miles Jack. You can't say that. It's never happened, so there's no precedent for you to say otherwise.
I I think he's on Mike Rizzo's Heisman ballot. He's third, behind Cam Ward.
Tyrann Mathieu, fifth in his Heisman year. RG3 above him. Andrew Luck above him. Trenton Richardson, running back, above Tyrann Mathieu. Monty Ball, running back, above Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu was a big special teams player. He was in the return game.
He was.
And he was a great defensive back.
And my cousin, the LSU fan.
No, that is not. All right, Christian McCaffrey was great on special teams, and he played both ways there. There have been a multitude of cornerbacks and safeties who play on special teams and on cornerbacks. We could go down the list. There's probably in the hundreds. So there is
Saquon Barkley.
There is a list of the players that can do what Travis Hunter do, and the players that have done what he has done. And there is one, and there's not a two.
That's not true. There are players that can do this. They're a dime a dozen. There's only one program that is allowing this, and it's Colorado, and it's Deion. Yes, these guys are good enough athletes. There's enough TV timeouts. These guys have played both ways.
So
more often.
we have enough of a problem with finding receivers that are 1,000-yard receivers and double-digit touchdown scorers. But the fact that they're such good athletes that they could go out there and play corner and be a great corner at that, they're just not allowed to do that. But there's only a dime a dozen actual receivers that get his statistics. But of those receivers that do get those statistics, there's got to be a few of them that would be All-American corners on the other end.
I think so.
That's what you're saying.
If they set their mind to it and had.
If they set their mind to it.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. If I grew wings, I'd be able to fly. Like
I wonder if Hunter would have all this buzz if Colorado didn't send the gift baskets to everyone. And
they sent the gift basket a week ago.
The gift baskets,
what?
The whole nine.
Oh my God, Mike! They sent the gift baskets like a week ago.
I really, Colin, I know you completely shut it down.
For 4 months.
And trust me, Colin, I understand why you shut it down. I'm not trying to downplay Hunter. I personally would just put Cam Ward and Junty over him. I do think if he was doing this at South Carolina, he wouldn't win. I think he's going to win because it's going to be a popularity vote. They sent the gift baskets. You watch The Office, C-Cat?
Yes.
What's the episode with the gift baskets?
Did we really think
Where are the
they
turtles?
yeah, exactly. They sent The Office gift baskets, and now, Travis Hunter is going to win.
If you're a Heisman voter and you receive a gift basket and you think, got to go Hunter here. If anything, most Heisman voters think this is pretty pathetic.
There's some muffins.
I think that acted towards a detriment towards his campaign comparatively.
C-Cat,
I think that most people like you and I saw that and thought that's a little sad.
Would you put Cam Ward over Travis Hunter?
No, I'd have Travis Hunter second.
Two. Okay.
If Miami was undefeated, I would have Cam Ward neck and neck with Ashton Genty.
Cam Ward was incredible this year, guys.
Cam Ward. Travis Hunter had a 1-of-1 season. I have seen quarterbacks have better seasons. A lot of quarterbacks have better seasons than what Cam Ward did this year and still not win. That's my perspective on that.
If Miami,
the reason I'm saying Travis Hunter has had a season we haven't never seen. And other than the hypothetical game of if he was on South Carolina or if a receiver applied himself and tried to be a cornerback as well.
Yeah.
Other than those two arguments.
Similar
and the gift baskets. And the gift baskets,
which was sent a week ago, and the only reason that Travis Hunter has a campaign is because they sent a gift basket after the season.
You could thank the Michael Scott Paper Company.
888-760-3776. We're taking Heisman picks. 888-760-3776. The phone lines are open. We stay in West Palm. We go to Marty in West Palm. Marty in West Palm, you're on Russo and Rizzo. What's on your mind?
Hey, boys. Good to have you in town. We can do a little less Cleveland talk, but that's okay. I like you guys.
Sorry, Marty. That's it, Marty. Marty, hand up. Hand up.
Preaching to God, my friend. What do you got in your mind?
I got to bring one to you. Travis Hunter is 2 of 2, and he probably did it better than the first one. Is everybody here, maybe you guys are a little bit too young, but Charles Woodson, he was the one that set this precedent of being just a bad you-know-what on defense, and he absolutely helped them on offense that year. He did obviously bring the national title, but we didn't know that at the Heisman time. So that's all my point is there's precedent, and because of that, I think Travis deserves it.
Even better. So there's and he wasn't as good as Woodson was. Woodson was not as good offensively as Hunter was, and I understand that's probably the sole precedent if there is one. And because of that, there's a level to this. He was better than that. I don't know. That's my argument. I'd be blown away. I understand the popularity contest
with Colorado,
and there's a whole thing with Colorado, and I agree. It drives me crazy. I hate the type of brand where they shove it down your throat every 5 seconds that Colorado is Colorado and you're not. I agree with that.
You got a coach who's dedicating media time to promoting his player as a Heisman winner.
He's more wrapped up in creating a brand than you could have argued winning a football game. But they took major steps from year 0 to year 1.
Which is great.
And they took great steps, even better steps, from year 1 to year 2. So from that, I got to get off Deion's case a little bit. But from a perspective of the actual Heisman consideration, it's a one of one. And I understand Jeanty is he didn't publicize himself as much. He doesn't have the PR team as much. He's not on national TV every year. That doesn't help him.
The fact that he's in the conversation from Boise, freaking Idaho, means he should win the award. If you can make a name for yourself in that program in a year where he's fortunate there's not a quarterback who's grabbing the award, I think we give him the award.
He did it and I go back to the Oregon conversation too. And I know Travis Hunter nonetheless played great every game. But for people who want to go, whoa, the boys in the Mountain West, they don't play anybody. Go back to that Oregon game where he put on against the number 1 team in the country.
Sure, he had a great game against Oregon. But there's one side that's also playing Power 4 competition week in and week out.
Are they, though?
Okay.
Is the Big 12?
Hold on.
What's the difference between the Big 12 and the MWC this year? It's not listen, I understand the Big 12 is a better conference.
More pros, better teams, better coaches.
Let's not act like
history.
let's not act like we're comparing the SEC and the ACC here. All right.
Yeah, they don't have a team higher ranked than Boise State.
And UNLV's ranked.
True.
And they lost their quarterback. Walked off the campus because of NIL.
Which was a better move because they were a better team without him. Point is, you want to make the argument that the Mountain West is so great and better than the Big 12? Fine. I got a bridge to sell you out back. But my point is, Boise State is a very good team this year. Very deserving of the playoff. Do I agree with them getting that bye? Probably not, but that's probably what's going to happen. But to the idea that Ashton Jeanty, because he had one game against Oregon, should be the sole defining reason comparatively off of a competition argument, there's no competition argument. The argument is that he could still do it against very good teams because he did it once. Fair. The argument is not he did not play better competition week in and week out because he did not, objectively. And Travis Hunter, on the other hand, not as good of a team, probably doesn't have as big of a game as that Oregon game, but played good teams week in and week out for the most part. Off of that, you guys are making me want to root for him because of some of the...
Yeah, can I put Colin on the lasso of truth? Kyle, you got to pick one. Who you picking right now?
Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, I think.
Are you
you're picking
Travis Hunter
you are
because
picking.
We're not?
I thought he was going to win. I was a little indifferent to who I think should win. But now off of this, I think he should win.
Convinced you. So C-Cat and I have single-handedly put you on the Travis Hunter. Did you get your gift basket?
That's right. I think
there's a gift
basket in the Russo household.
What happened?
You guys care about three things. You care about hypotheticals with South Carolina. You care about if a wide receiver, one of the 10 in the country who have 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, applies himself defensively, he can become an all-world receiver.
I think more, yes. If we were in a specialist society right now, I think that there would be more two-way players. We see it every single Friday night. Odds are,
Ohtani's been in the league for 7 years. Why hasn't nobody done in the MLB?
All right, well, you're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. Knowing that pitching and hitting are two very different things compared to running around and guarding around.
Precedent.
You're my baseball guy.
Come on. Ohtani had a one-on-one season. What is Travis Hunter's season? Is it a one-on-one season?
Hey, maybe he'll inspire many more.
I'm not saying it's comparable. You're right, because it's two hyper-specific different positions, and there's a lot of, I guess, carryover between a corner and a receiver. But if there's a lot of carryover in receiver, why don't more people do it? Why not?
Because their coaches don't want them to.
So every coach in the country, except for Deion Sanders, does not allow players to play both ways. Wrong, because there has been players that play both ways. They just can't do it that well. NFL, there's an argument. College, there has been players that do it both ways. They're just not that good at it.
Can I add more proof in the pudding for our Jeanty conversation? Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry won in 2015, and he has less rushing yards than Jeanty has this year. Mm-hmm. So
you could shoot that back with the Melvin Gordon thing that I brought up 10 minutes ago.
Well, Melvin Gordon also had a stinker against the Buckeyes in the Big Ten championship game. Didn't rush for over 100 yards, by the way.
But he's playing in the Big Ten.
Ashton Jeanty's worst game was 127 yards, and he averaged 11.5 yards per carry.
There's no doubt in my mind he's having a terrific season. But there is levels to this. There is levels to this. There is unprecedented, and there is extraordinary.
312 carries.
That offense does not go without him. Colorado probably still wins the same amount of games, if maybe one less, without Travis Hunter.
You taking extraordinary or unprecedented?
I'm taking the best football that best represents college football. That's what the Heisman's about. And that's Ashton Jeanty.
And in
best representative.
Elaborate on whatever that was.
I'll pull up the clarifications on the Heisman website. There's vernacular that I didn't get right.
He most exemplifies football?
College football, the sport.
Because
rugged runner.
Because they're not sending gift baskets to Heisman voters.
That's the only reason you want Ashton Jeanty is because they sent gift baskets. I agree. Rough look. And they're trying to shove it down your throat that he should be the Heisman, and it's a whole campaign. But from a on-field perspective, that is where I lie. I don't even like Colorado. I didn't like, for those reasons, I didn't like that whole rah-rah they had.
So he's supposed to win the Heisman because Prime coaches him. Is that right, C-Cat?
That's what I'm hearing.
It bothers me. That bothers me.
When did I say that? How did I say that?
You didn't say that. I am saying that. That's how I interpret them sending Michael Scott gift baskets from the Michael Scott Paper Company.
That is going to have nothing to do with whether the fact that he wins or
I'm
not.
Coach Prime. We had a good year this year. I have a two-way player.
You think
he should
the
win the
reason
Heisman.
he's a minus 10,000 favorite to win the Heisman is because they sent gift baskets?
It's because he plays for Coach Prime. At the past 2 years,
Right.
yes. If he's doing this at Mizzou,
you know what?
we're not talking about it.
C-Cat, that's the best. Hang on. That's the best 3-loss team I'm going to see play in the Cheez-It Bowl that you'll ever see in your entire life.
They were a game away from the playoffs, so there's an argument there.
And they lost to Kansas.
Sure. I understand that. We're talking about Boise State here.
Okay. All right.
If he plays for South Carolina, there would be somebody on South Carolina doing that then. But there has never been.
He'd be
so you can't say that. Complete hypothetical.
He'd be the favorite, Kyle, if he played for South Carolina?
Yes.
No.
Why?
No.
Because Coach Prime.
Because there's not the narrative, there's not the brand, there's not the story behind it.
It's Coach Prime.
That helps. Would he not be the top? If there was a Travis Hunter on a South Carolina uniform, would he be a top 3 pick?
South Carolina would help because he's a good quarterback, more of a mobile quarterback that.
All right, I don't need you to proud.
Yes, if you can't get the football to Travis Hunter, then he's not going to have all those catches, all the yards.
To be fair, we're talking about the Heisman Trophy.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's never been done before. It's never been done before, and you guys are acting like if it was done elsewhere, nobody would care.
Gets a whole lot of help by having a good quarterback.
Gets a whole lot of help. How good was that team last year?
Coach Prime.
How good was that? How much help did he have last year?
Last year is not indicative
that
of this year.
That defense stinks, and he still has 4 interceptions. They avoid him on the field, and he still gets interceptions. So, and that's not even
a triple coverage last weekend.
That's you cannot judge a cornerback by how many interceptions they have. You can't judge a cornerback by how many tackles they have.
I'll agree.
They avoid him, and he's still involved. That's how impressive he is. He plays every snap of the game. If it was so possible, somebody else would do it.
I gotta say,
if it was so possible, somebody else would do it.
I want Jeanty to win, but I am looking forward to seeing Coach Prime in New York.
He's not going anywhere.
No, like for the ceremony.
Oh.
I am looking forward to the big charade of Prime with the sunglasses in the tuxedo in New York. Because I told you guys, don't get it twisted. I love Prime. I love the brand, but the whole parading,
I'm sure
the
he
gift
loves
basket,
it.
that's
so you
that's
guys
much.
think that the reason he's going to win it is because of Prime, but I'm more on the reason you guys don't want him to win it is because of Prime.
Correct.
No, I like a change of pace with the running back, and I think that making a name for yourself as a
change
running
of
back.
pace, a change of pace with the running back. What change of pace is offered by the wide receiver cornerback combo?
I can't go back. Colin, I can't go.
It's the gift baskets. Just
it is. No, it is, man. It is. It's the parading their guys to, hey, make sure you vote for him. It's a big problem with me. Jeanty's having an incredible year. Number 6th in single rushing season of all time behind Marcus Allen, Kevin Smith, Melvin Gordon, Barry Sanders.
Behind.
By like 200 yards.
Is Travis Hunter behind anybody? No. We continue on the program. 888-760-3776. The number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. We continue on. Russo and Rizzo live here at ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur. And most certainly, never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com, to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and it is championship week. Are you ready to make some money betting on the games? For only $49 this weekend, you can get yourself into profit betting on sports. $49 gets you 4 football, 4 basketball, and 9 NFL prop games going this weekend for only $49. Go to fatjacksports.com and consistently build profits starting this weekend for only $49. Get a longer package, it's less than $100 a week. fatjacksports.com to win this weekend.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's ESPN 1063, your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Dolphins, Miami Hurricanes, and all of the biggest football matchups throughout the week. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned by gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Is your credit on life support? Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Local bank representatives will be on site to grant special approval to consumers who meet certain minimum criteria. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach wants to approve you so you can drive home your new Kia today. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. Hello, is this thing on? I repeat, Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach will be hosting a credit clinic at the dealership today and tomorrow. If you have a job bringing home $350 weekly, the credit clinic wants to approve you for a new Kia today. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss the credit clinic today and tomorrow at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or go online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval term.
Mark your calendars and gear up for game day this Sunday, December 8th. Join Bud Light and the ESPN West Palm Street team at St. Lucie Draft House in Port St. Lucie. Catch all the action as the New York Jets face off against the Miami Dolphins from 1 to 3 p.m. Showcase your football skills for a chance to win Bud Light prizes. Enjoy $3.25 Bud Light drafts while watching the Fins. Must be 21 or older to participate. Southern Eagle reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour here of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, live from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo here, joined alongside me, Mike Rizzo and Christian Cat, of course, behind the glass. Heisman consideration, we are split as a group here. Two of these guys think that Ashigenti deserves it. I am more on the other side that Travis Hunter will and should be awarded that once the Heisman Award is announced later in the month. In terms of they're both getting invited to New York, both probably the final two finalists. But it remains to be seen who the actual media members will favor. I think this is Travis Hunter in a landslide. They think otherwise. Nonetheless, phone lines are open, 888-760-3776. The number to get into the program, that's 888-760-3776. Christian Cat, of course, being our producer for today, behind the glass. You've had a long day, my friend. I give you credit for three straight shows, I should say. But in the meantime, it's time for us to break down everything in the sports world. Let's do a little 5 at 5.
Number 1.
Well, the College Football Committee came out with their penultimate rankings, their new rankings last night. Last one before their final 12-team bracket come up this Sunday. Do the Hurricanes deserve to be in line and in the playoff?
Well, I just saw this 2 seconds ago. Miami quarterback Cam Ward said this when in regard to asked about the playoff committee and them leaving out Miami, essentially. He said, quote, I mean, at the end of the day, them boys who in that committee, I really doubt they watch tape. We're playing better defenses, in my opinion, than the SEC. That's what he said to say to that.
Yeah, and then, Lane Kiffin had strong words today, too, about Miami being higher than Ole Miss. It's the battle of the conferences, folks.
Let's just get rid of one. Have her 3 next year.
And I know you guys hate this, but it's about time you just have the 2 power conferences and you play it like Premier League soccer. Teams go up, teams go down. You don't perform, you're going down.
We are beating around the bush as a college football society. Like, we are going to get there. It's a matter of when. There's the ACC seemingly cannot survive unless we get a good season from Florida State or Clemson.
I think I know where Colin's going to go on this. TV deals are everything. Money is everything. So maybe there
might be 2 ACC teams. Shouldn't Big 12 be the one complaining about this?
Yeah, that's true.
And they just got gutted in a lot of ways with losing Texas to
They're
Oklahoma.
lucky. The Big 12 is lucky to have an automatic bid, in my opinion. To Colin's point, how many teams and big names. I know Oklahoma stinks this year, but they've been in the playoff in years past. They don't play in that conference anymore. Texas don't play in that conference anymore. A&M, I know it was 12 years ago. They don't play in that conference anymore. They have been absolutely gutted at the seams. Now, I know the Pac-12 blew up in a matter of a day, but this has been a slow kill for the Big 12. And I think the football on the field this year is starting to show for it, that the teams just aren't very good. And the top dogs like Kansas State, Colorado.
If the ACC is not that good, why did Georgia Tech take Georgia to 8 overtimes in Athens? Why?
It's a good shout.
Rivalry game.
It's a good shout. It's a good point by Colin, and you don't have a lot of answers for that. We thought that Georgia Tech was going to be maybe a 2 or 3 loss team in the beginning of the year when they won in week 0.
And I can't believe I'm carrying water for the ACC because I was on the favor of leaving Florida State out.
Turns out Florida State stinks, and we had to have a big think about Georgia Tech. They lost a lot of games, but it's up to, in my opinion, it's up to these coaches to get the caliber of athlete to these schools, to these conferences. Say what you want about Georgia Tech. I like their coach, and I like their brand of football. Reminds me of Michigan a little bit. They're going to run the football. They're going to be out. They're going to be the more physical team, and that's their identity. That's their brand. That's who they recruit. The problem is, I just don't think the ACC is top-heavy enough. Their top-heavy teams aren't as consistent as the top-heavy teams in the SEC and the Big Ten. Now, the conversation needs to be had. The conversation, I think, though, Colin, I think you'll agree with me on this, needs to be had, are the top-heavy teams in the SEC and the Big Ten a little overrated? Obviously, Oregon's undefeated. I thought Ohio State was a great top-heavy team. They lose to Michigan's worst team in 20 years. The SEC has eaten each other. Carnivorism. They've eaten each other. Ignore that I said that. Don't know where I was going with that. They eat each other, in other words. Their own ate their own. A carnivore is a person that eats meat. I'm an idiot. But at the same time, how good is the top-heavy SEC? How good is the top-heavy Big Ten? Are we just giving them the benefit of the doubt because they play in the Glamour Conference? So I think there's two sides. Those 2 points I gave up, there's two sides to that argument right now.
There is two sides. And because of the fact that there's two sides, I don't think Miami necessarily deserves to be in off of the only basis alone that they had a favorable schedule. And that is whether you want to call that ACC or not, because Georgia Tech is also in the ACC. They played Notre Dame. They played at Louisville. They played Georgia. They played Miami. That's a tough schedule. That schedule with 2 losses gets into the playoff, in my opinion.
And that's why I like bowl.
It's all about schedule.
I like bowl seasons so much, guys. And I know a lot of the times on some of these teams that don't get into the big dance, they don't play their best players. But I like bowl season to see these conferences go up against each other. And Christian, what did you call it in a pre-show meeting I talked to you earlier in the day? What did you call bowl season that's not the college football playoff?
It is non-existent. Doesn't happen. I don't know. What did I say?
NIT.
And you called it. We should make an NIT where I think schools would actually care.
You go, Riz, you ready for NIT season? I go, CK, you talking about bowl season?
A college football NIT would get viewers.
Yeah, I mean, the bowl game, the outside bowl game that's not within the playoff realm stinks now. I agree. It's completely fact. Like, nobody cares it.
They wouldn't play, though. My thing is, I still think the players wouldn't play in this NIT. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, you have basketball schools that just don't play their team. They just decline the invite to the NIT. So, yeah, people will sit out.
But I am interested, in your guys' opinions of the top-heavy teams. Miami is a top-heavy team in their conference with 2 losses. Ohio State, top-heavy team, 2 losses. Georgia, top-heavy team in their conference, 2 losses. Is it because of the SEC and the Big Ten being better than the ACC, or at least we think it is? I see Miami and Cam Ward's frustration. I do. I see it, but in the end of the day, I'm going to answer my own question. Yes, it is because people think the ACC stinks. Is it fair? No idea.
It's almost like there's no right answer to it. So it's all situational. It's not going to be the same precedent year in and year out. It's who you play. You play them hard. You schedule out of conference, interestingly. If you do any of that, you'll get more of a favorable bone.
And lastly, the strength of your win, which Colin and I have been talking about for 2 months. How is the committee going to grade? Clearly, a lot of it is strength of the win.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Let's go to the pro side. The NFC North is probably the most peculiar division in football as of now when it comes to the division race. How do you think the NFC North is going to shake out?
11-1 Lions, 10-2 Vikings, 9-3 Packers, Kyle.
I mean, I'm on the point where Lions are still trajected up. I think that's a very risky game. I could totally see the Packers winning that. Packers are a little desperate. It's hard to beat a team twice. Lions have kind of been flirting with losing. They're going to be incredibly shorthanded injury-wise. That's going to be a really, really tough game to win on Thursday. Packers are going to be motivated for that. But Lions number 1. Now, I'm still not sold on the Packers, but they've been playing better comparatively to how the Vikings have been playing. Vikings have been flirting with escaping every week. I'd go Packers 2, Vikings 3.
Okay.
I could see a little bit of a late season skid.
To Colin's point, and I don't know if he agrees with me on this, but I think Darnold kind of got found out a little bit. I don't know if it's because he's playing injured or whatnot, but it doesn't look like the same Darnold I saw in the first 6 weeks. I do want to make it clear, Detroit, 3 division games left. Minnesota, 3 division games left. The Packers, 3 division games left. It's a fascinating race right now. I got to go with Detroit. I got to go with Green Bay. I feel bad for the Vikings because I did this in Peoria too. I just don't buy them. They're 11-2, which is crazy, and I don't buy them. I don't think I don't think the Vikings can. The top heavy teams in the NFC. You got the Lions and you got the Eagles. I would still take the Lions and the Eagles over the Vikings. I would still take the Green Bay Packers over the Vikings when it comes to a playoff game. So, yes, I'm with Colin in the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings in that order. C-Cat, though, very interesting. I'm interested to hear what you got to say. All three of these teams had 3 division games. It's really up there in the balance right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sold on the Vikings. I'm just not going to see them do that the rest of the season. The best win that they've had since the calendar changed to October was the Cardinals.
Good win.
Over the weekend, which, I mean, close, good win, 23-22. Can't knock them too much. But their best win before that was who? The
Titans,
Jets?
Jags. They had a terrible schedule.
Can I end with this for the both of you? Do you believe they could even win? They're going to make the playoffs, obviously. Can they even win a playoff game?
Not going to win the division.
Can they, but even against one of the lower end wild card teams?
Yeah, they're pretty limited.
Can they beat the Commanders?
But they've won close games. And off of that alone, they won close against Jacksonville. They won close against the Bears. They escaped that Packer game. They won close against the Cardinals. For better or worse, learning how to win a close game is a skill, and it determines a good team versus a bad team. So there is that.
We said yesterday on remote at PJ National for No Shave November, you don't want to play the Browns late in the year. Can the Bears kind of be that team? The Bears fired their head coach. All 3 of these teams play the Chicago Bears. Can the Bears have an implication on who wins this division?
Going to be a tough out. Number 3.
Number 3.
The Heisman Trophy is right around the corner. Who's going to win it? And is that different from who actually deserves the award?
Well, C-Cat, can you tell Coach Prime, and, the word on the street is that Mike Rizzo has the ear of someone who votes in New York. Can you tell Coach Prime to send me in my gift basket, can he send me a Nintendo gift card? There's a new Switch coming out in a couple of months. Tell Prime, about $500 on a Nintendo gift card should get the vote down there in
because he's buttering up voters. That's why.
We talked a lot about this, obviously, Colin. I'm Gentil. C-Cat's Gentil.
I don't think it's
deserve
Gentil. I don't think he's French.
I always say it wrong. I'm like Colin.
Will he win?
I'm horrible with names, guys. I'm so sorry.
Will Gentil win?
No, he's not going to win. I'll go with the odds. It's kind of obvious. It's 25-1.
He won't win. It'll be Travis Hunter because, it's Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs, the best 3-loss team in NCAA history.
Funny part is, you said he's going to win because Coach Prime is coach, because it's Colorado, and because it's the best 9-win team. There's nothing. You didn't say one thing about what he is doing on the field. Not one thing.
Well, we've got 2 very good players. It's just that apparently the tiebreaker is the brand.
Yep.
Colorado's got the brand. Boise State
One team
hasn't had the brand since they beat Oklahoma, I guess.
One team in the playoff with a bye, according to the committee.
So why don't you? So now this is a team thing.
We're adding layers, Colin. It's a
it's a team thing.
We're adding, Colin. I'm adding layers.
I don't want to.
If you're so good of a player, then your team probably should be doing well because what you're being judged on is your play.
Is it
They won
Shedeur?
0 games 2 years ago. They've won 9 games this year. You think they're doing better or worse than what they were doing?
Is Shedeur going to be in New York as well? Right?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Well, it's official. The Dodgers now have $1 billion in future deferred payments. Is it more likely the rest of the league follows suit in Major League Baseball, or are we going to put a stop to this?
It's an interesting question because at a certain point, there's one of 2 roads are going to happen here. It's not going to be the Dodgers just continue doing this scot-free and nobody else joins suit. It's either going to be everybody else follows suit, and this is going to be a thing where the top 30% of owners in the Major League Baseball are going to begin deferring payments in bulk and being able to utilize that to maintain rosters and keep them together? Or is this going to be outlawed now that the Dodgers have $1 billion in deferred payments over now and the future? I would lean on the fact that this is going to be outlawed and hopefully capped in some regard because the Dodgers are in the complete minority on this.
Yeah, how do you, what would be the process of outlawing it now? Are the Dodgers grandfathered in? The contract's a contract.
It is.
Or does Major League Baseball just say, nope, got to move the money around, pay him now?
It's a good thought. I don't know.
I'm Colin and C-Cat. I'm going with the grandfathered in part. I mean, it already happened. What are you going to do kind of thing? You just throw your hands up at it. Boys, I look at things as a small market team. And Colin, you with maybe the A's, I don't know, with the move to Vegas, maybe they start spending money. But, is this something small market teams can take advantage of? They don't have, maybe I understand, no one has the payroll of the Yankees and the Dodgers, but, if you're a small market team and you're able to pay this, I think it could possibly help small market teams. But at the same time, it could completely ruin small market teams as well. I don't know how to feel on this. I feel like small market teams can take advantage of this because you don't owe a lot up front. But at the same time,
how do you get the player to agree to that?
Exactly. So I don't know how I feel. I personally, I hope it gets outlawed because I'm not a numbers guy. I've never been a mathematician or anything like that. I don't know how this garbage works. So I hope it gets outlawed because I think teams like the Dodgers, teams like the Yankees, who already have an advantage of a non-salary cap, are going to keep finding loopholes and keep finding ways to kind of mess over the little brother teams who can't afford these players.
And it's not, and that was the argument with just the amount that they spend on these players.
Right.
But nowadays, it's the Dodgers and the crowd. It's the Dodgers and the field.
Colin, do you know where my head's at? Like, as small market teams, like, you think this could possibly help them because you don't have to front all the money up front. You could, hopefully bank on your team.
A predatory car loan. Yeah.
Right. The only reason it works is because you already have a winning organization that is guaranteed to be in the mix. Other teams can't promise that. So how are you going to convince the player to come? It's a major problem. It should be outlawed. I hope it's outlawed before the teams follow suit because a salary cap is going to come eventually in Major League Baseball.
You think so?
Yes.
You're confident
in that? Yeah, a cap and a floor.
It's going to completely, you agree, it's going to completely change the landscape of
There's a
baseball.
floor. Are we going to be cutting off teams? Like, if you can't afford it, sorry.
Well, they can't afford it. They just have to do it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest. I'm so with Colin on that. These teams that penny pitch, they absolutely can afford to go after
Well,
these.
the only reason they would do it is you can't establish a cap without the floor because both sides, the players and the owners, want different things. Owners want the cap because they don't want to spend a ton of money. Players want the floor because they want to make money with their teams.
Let's say there is a cap. Do you think it would change the complete landscape of baseball, though? No?
All it is following a blueprint that has proven to succeed in other sports leagues.
But then these other teams, though, have opportunities to go after said player, right? Like the Juan Soto thing. Other teams would be able to go after Soto?
You'd have to.
You know what I mean?
It wouldn't. The contracts probably wouldn't be as big.
Okay.
But
no, I'm with you
maybe
there.
a shorter, maybe 6-7 year deals now. That's fine. That's fine. 13-year contracts are unethical anyway.
And they never pan out.
So
they pan out for 4 or 5 years.
It's all. The only reason I said floor is because all professional teams want to win, and they at least in the football side of things, they want to win, and they realize that they have to spend to win. NBA is the same deal. Major League Baseball, you don't necessarily need to because of all the control you get with young players, number one. And number two, the owners still make a buck and not get to the World Series. That level of randomness that baseball has to its advantage allows them to not spend money and still be relatively competitive once in a while.
And imagine like a team like the Diamondbacks a few years back. They had no payroll. They go all the way to the World Series, get all that cash.
And it's the only league that can do that. It's the only league that can really do that. But if you add a floor, because players want floor, owners want cap, that's how you got to do it. That's your mediation. Owners are like, wait a second. Why are we setting a cap? Because then the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets get screwed. Where I have to set a cap, and all of a sudden the small market teams still don't have to spend any money. There's the problem there.
Is the closest comparison to Major League Baseball and how money works college football? Like the teams that are shelling out the money,
highest bidder,
are going to be competitive.
All the owners are rich, so there's that. Not every college football team is rich.
But to Christian's point, they act like they're, or whoever said out of YouTube, these owners act like they're not, all right? Right? These owners act like, I remember the Cubs owners, the Ricketts, said they had biblical losses during COVID, and a lot of Cubby fans had a huge problem with that.
There's a comparison, but college football is just it's an Armageddon. It's a tornado of just people leaving, people coming in. At least baseball, there's some structure in terms of players can't leave until they're the unrestricted free agent, beat arbitration, the whole thing. But that's the bottom line. You got to outlaw the deferred payments, and you got to set a cap and a floor. That's got to come.
I could donate $10 to the Buckeye NIL fund. C-Cat, would you donate $10 to the Penn State fund?
No, they're not getting $1 out of me.
They already got.
I got an argument.
Thousands of dollars.
Me and my girlfriend went to college together, and she took it upon herself to make donations in both our names for like the alumni fund. I am so mad about that.
I completely agree. I don't agree. In a big school, if it's a small, tiny school, one thing. A big school like alumni fund.
If the difference between keeping Jeremiah Smith and not is my $10, I'm donating.
Listen, but it's not.
Listen, Penn State. Listen, Ohio State. I need this money more than you.
Yeah, hang on. Riz, we're $10 short. We need you.
It's going to be
I'm
like
stepping
that
up to the plate.
$10 going to like the extra rack of ribs to feed the defensive lineman.
All I'm saying is I'm stepping up to the plate for Big Tyreek Williams' meals. All right?
I completely agree. Alumni funds, unless I'm a multi-billionaire, not doing it.
Paid out-of-state tuition. They got my parking tickets.
You guys got plenty of money off of the tuition alone.
God, the parking tickets. Isn't that the biggest joke in college? Parking
4.
tickets.
Number 5.
Is it 5?
Number 5.
Juan Soto. Saw some tweets yesterday. Teams are getting the axe, getting the X. Sorry, no Soto for you. He's getting closer and closer to the free agent decision. Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Red Sox, and Blue Jays? Yeah, they're all in the mix. What landing spot would be the best for baseball for Juan Soto?
Colin, I forgot we had a Yankee fan doing the 5 at 5. Go ahead.
I said nothing that was biased.
Okay.
Now, it was just released by SMY that Juan Soto, despite previous reports, the deal is not expected that soon. So we're still going to have to wait, whether that's a couple weeks, a couple days, whatever that may be. We're not going to hear in terms of where he's going to go. So the way that question is phrased is where should he go, or what would be good
Where do you
for baseball?
want him? How about this?
Where would be good for baseball? There's 2 questions to that. There's a realistic answer and a non-realistic answer. The realistic answer, in my opinion, I think the Red Sox would be good for baseball, or the Mets would be good for baseball. Because the Mets are probably going to lose Alonso, in my opinion. But that's going to be good for baseball. Because you're adding a star power, you're evening it out a little bit. What should happen, in a perfect world, he'd go to a smaller market team. He'd go to the Milwaukee Brewers and just go catapult them into something different. That would be good for baseball, that talent distribution.
I agree with Colin, and I would like him to go to the Cleveland Guardians, for the talent distribution.
What was the last time a small market team got a big star?
It doesn't. I mean,
Robinson Cano.
You guys will disagree with me with this because I think he's the most underrated player in baseball. And who was on earlier? Marty and West Palm. I'm talking about Cleveland again. Jose Ramirez is a big star, and he took a hometown discount.
He was in the building.
He could have got
Trout
major
did not
money.
take a discount, but he's on a smaller market.
Could have gave major money from any others. And I hate myself for this because I can't stand the Yankees. But, that guy's a Yankee, right? You saw him wear the uniform last year. It looks right with him in pinstripes. And I'm talking to a Yankee fan. Obviously, you're going to agree with me on this. It'd be weird for me not to see Soto in a Yankee uniform, honestly.
I mean, it was only one season, but he sure has the look, has the vibe, has the swagger in right field with the bleacher creatures. I'm a Yankee fan. Sure, I would love it. Best for baseball, I think Colin is actually right. The Red Sox need to be good again. And Rizzo, you've been on this from the jump since the end of last regular season. The AL is a catastrophe, and your Cleveland Guardians are one of the reasons to it, and your division are so garbage. We need better teams in the American League. And if that makes the Red Sox good enough to be a playoff team, so be it.
Colin, I've been asking this question dating back 4 years ago in Peoria. What are the Red Sox doing? And I know you're more in tune to baseball than anyone I know, partner, but they're trying to rebuild through the farm system and then whatever. But, dude, going 500 for the last 3 years in a row is very odd for that.
And they had Mookie Betts in the building.
And they let him go!
The Betts thing was that was a disaster. Yeah, they should have let Betts walk, and I agree. But the one thing about the Red Sox is they have succeeded under multiple regimes, under multiple managers, and in multiple time periods since the turn of the century. So I got to give them credit on that end. It's a well-run organization, always has been. But you're right. In terms of benefiting baseball needs a villain. They got two of these, stepping 1 foot in front of the other stars that do everything right, and Ohtani and Judge. Get a villain. Soto fits the bill.
Can I ask you, is the villain not the Dodgers now? The Dodgers are the villain for me in baseball. They have a loaded team.
But people like Ohtani. My point is a villain star.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Last thing.
People hate Boston outside of Boston.
Oh, can't stand them. A lot of it has to do with my Uncle Patrick and my cousins that live there. Last thing about Boston. They signed Rafael Devers. They re-signed him. And then a story came out about a couple of weeks before the season. Maybe he might have been in the first week of the season. Devers goes, where the hell? Why didn't you sign him? In a nutshell, Devers goes, why didn't you sign anybody? You signed me, and that was it. Where's the cavalry? And I asked myself that same thing, as I said, for the last 3 years.
The Dodgers got to be the bad guys, got to be the villains, especially if they get Soto, that's guaranteed, okay, yes. But people like Mookie, Shohei, it's hard to hate him. You can make fun of him for the gambling stuff, but
it's a likable team. It's a likable team. It's a likable group of individuals. Freddie Freeman is a great guy. Mookie Betts is a great guy.
I'm honestly very upset he left Atlanta. He should have never. Freeman belonged in Atlanta.
They didn't want to pay him.
Bullpen's a little bombastic, I guess, if you're going to,
They got, Kershaw wasn't pitching. Bueller in and out. Glasnow didn't pitch.
I'm more on Freddie Freeman. There's an E60 on Freddie Freeman. I want both of you to watch it.
With his father.
His mother died at a young age. It's fantastic.
Well, we're all American League baseball fans, so maybe it would change tune if we were National League baseball fans. If you're a Braves fan, you despise the Dodgers.
Right.
If you are, really, I guess, Colin, you were an Oakland fan.
Now you're a Vegas fan.
Yeah.
Sacramento.
Sacramento fan. How's that ballpark? How many does that seat, by the way, off topic?
13,000, I want to say.
Not bad.
Around the same amount as the Rays are going to play this
year.
At the George
15,000 maybe?
at the George Steinbrenner Field intra-division?
Yeah.
Wow. Bad look.
Letting your girlfriend's boyfriend crash at your place.
Bad look.
Actually, a very well put analogy.
Yeah. And then last thing, the Red Sox let Betts go. Haven't really done anything since.
Won a title in 2018, so I'll give him that. I think we're a little hard on the Red Sox, but they need to get back to something.
Was he on that team?
Splash.
Was he on that team?
Who?
Betts.
Yes.
Yeah. They let go of Betts, and that was it. Anyway.
Time for us to reflect on what we improved upon. We'll do that on the flip side of things. We'll do a little better than yesterday, presented by Flagstick Golf Performance. But in the meantime, start your day out with a bang. Start your day out with a win. Best way to do that, go to F45 downtown West Palm Beach locations in Wellington and Palm Beach Gardens. As well, F45, they had these all over the world. I didn't even realize. They have these in Asia. I saw one in Egypt. They have one in Switzerland. They have them all over the world, these F45s. And they got one right here in downtown West Palm Beach. So there's no better time to really get started and work off the holidays. Go in, 45 minutes, coaches right there, 2 coaches in each class. They have classes every hour. You're in and out in 45 minutes. Stretch, cardio, functional weightlifting, resistance workouts. It's a perfect way to get a sweat in. Start your day with a win. You can't win your day if you don't win your morning. And that's the way I do it. I go to F45 every single morning. I absolutely love it. Easy to get involved. Easy to get started on the app. Go check it out, F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Let's reflect and let's improve. We'll do a little better than yesterday. Next on Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's your boy JC reminding you to go on YouTube right now. Hit subscribe on Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Brand new episodes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The best from sports, stupidity, and social media. Exclusive on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Hit subscribe now.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you're in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. Anajar and Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anajar and Levine, my accident attorneys. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Hey, my name is Colin Russo, and this is your Miami Dolphins Minute. Well, the Miami Dolphins got beat by the cold once again as they took the field at Lambeau on Thanksgiving Day for a brisk night matchup versus the Green Bay Packers. The Fins came into the game riding hot on a 3-game winning streak, but couldn't get anything going offensively as they fell to an early 24-3 deficit en route to a 30-17 final versus the Packers. A non-existent run game and lackluster protection for Tua Tagovailoa proved to be the difference maker in the Packers securing the victory. Well, the Dolphins now sit at 5-7 and are a couple games back of a wild card playoff spot, but a manageable schedule is on the horizon with the Jets coming to Hard Rock this coming Sunday for a 1 p.m. kick, and you can listen to that game right here on ESPN 106.3. Well, that was your Miami Dolphins Minute presented by Hard Rock Bet, Florida's official sportsbook. Bet on the Dolphins all season long. Try Hard Rock Bet now. Get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager terms, conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADD-MINUTE.
Hey, it's your boy JC. Could Florida State alum Jameis Winston become the new face of the Browns franchise? We explain why it's more likely than not on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. Brand new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at pnc.com.
Years of hard work have led to this day. It's National Signing Day on ESPN 106.3. Top football talent from all around Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast pick their college homes. From in-state staples like the Gators and Knowles to national powerhouses like Ohio State. Tune in as our local stars continue on their football journey. National Signing Day is presented by Kaiser University, Smith Ball Baez and Prather, and the Orange Bowl.
I might be too strung out on compliments, overdosed on confidence, started not to give.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
A December edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, a Wednesday, midweek, college football playoff rankings out, NFL, week 14 kicking off tomorrow, college football conference championship week, good college basketball tonight, NBA is in full swing, MLB winter meetings, golden at bat, whole lot going on in the sports world. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo. Of course, Christian Cat helping us out behind the glass. But, you know, now that I've moved to South Florida, this is usually, from what I was used to, at least growing up, December was the time where, you know, you don't leave the house without your boots. Now, I'm leaving house with a nice t-shirt, maybe a little jacket if it's a little chilly out. But this is still outdoors weather, and that means it's still golf season, 12 months a year. And that means I need to go improve my golf game because I'm not a great golfer, and Lord knows I need a lot of improvement.
We need to get Colin in on the dog's golf party that's going to be here in what, 5 months?
Yeah, no, like 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Clock's ticking. Got a lot to work on there. That's another story for another day. In the meantime, where do I go to improve my golf game? I go to none other than Flagstick Golf Performance. It's the ultimate indoor golf experience in Boynton Beach. Flagstick Golf Performance is now open. If you go now, you can get a free 30-minute simulator use just to go test it out, just to go use it. They got plenty of deals. Go follow them at Flagstick Golf Performance on Instagram as well to stay up to date with that. But what it is, it's a unique facility. 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio. It's also got a build shop, so if you want to get your clubs fitted, shaped, different gripped, different head, the same thing, all they got, Andy's got you covered. He knows that more than I think I've seen anybody know anything. Andy Heiberger over at the Flagstick Golf Performance knows golf clubs. He can help you out there. The team works closely with players of all levels who really want to improve their game. If you're a serious player, if you're a non-serious player like myself, you go. That's where you actually want to improve your golf game. There's no better way. It's not like a Topgolf. It's go and let's go improve. So that's the key with that. It's located in Boynton Beach. It offers memberships and daily access for all. Go visit them in person. Find all the info you need at flagstickgolfperformance.com. Time for us to be better than yesterday, presented by Flagstick Golf Performance. So how Better Than Yesterday works is we're going to go around the table once or twice, and we're going to decide what we need to improve upon, or what something in sports needs to improve upon, what somebody in your life needs to improve upon. Somebody can always be better. You could always be better than yesterday. It's time for us to be reflective about that. Starting with myself. I'm going to start outside of a personal one. Rob Manfred needs to be better than yesterday. Golden at bat. Some people love it. Christian Cat being one of them.
Correct.
Some people don't.
You love it. What do you mean?
You love it.
Yes, you
love
did.
It.
Listen, just because we weren't in studio yesterday doesn't mean you could just pull a fast one on us.
Ridiculous rule, golden at bat, and where the MLB could potentially implement a rule that allows the best hitter in the lineup to be implemented anywhere in the lineup at any point in the game, one time per game. So Aaron Judge could go hit at the 9 spot once a game. That's the golden at bat rule. Apparently there was buzz. Rob Manfred is trying to bite off a little bit more than he could chew here. It's stupid. It's gimmicky. Be better than yesterday, Bob. You have your win with your pitch clock and the expanded playoff, the DH. You got your wins. Soak in it. Figure out a different way to improve baseball. That's my first better than yesterday, is Rob Manfred, the commissioner of the MLB.
So, Colin, my first better than yesterday is actually the both of us, because when I was packing up yesterday at PGA National and loading everything into the truck, Colin, I had 5 separate guys come up to me and tell us how much we do a great job on Russo and Rizzo. And a lot of that is because we're getting out into the community at events like No Shave November yesterday. So Colin and I is my first better than yesterday, because we've been going on a lot of remotes. We've been trying to get our name out there
Some guys
to the Palm Beach County.
That?
Yeah, Colin, I had 5 different people come up to me at the event.
Wow.
And say how much of a great job we're doing, and they're so happy we're in the Palm Beach area.
Interesting.
So, and you know, I think that our company does a great job of getting us out on remote. As you guys could tell, you know, we're on remote a lot. We're going to be on remote coming up tomorrow. So my first better than yesterday is Colin and I getting out in the community and getting our names out there. And Christian, sorry.
I'm back here.
I wish I had
I don't go out in the community.
I wish
I'm a hermit.
See, this is where, Colin, this is why I need hotkeys. I need to start making hotkeys for when I do something stupid. But nonetheless, all 3 of us getting out into the community and getting our names out there. But honest to God, brother, had a lot of people come up to us telling we're doing a great job. So that's my first better than yesterday.
Yeah. Cat, what do you need to be better than yesterday with?
I got to start buying the travel insurance. I booked these flights, and I see, like, why am I going to spend $20 on a flight that I know I'm going to take? Well, I booked a flight to what should be about a week ago this time. I thought Penn State's going to have a home playoff game the weekend of December 20th. Booked the flight, was ready to go to State College for the first time since I graduated from there. Turns out, if Penn State wins the Big Ten championship game, I'm out $165. Frontier can do nothing about it. I didn't buy the travel insurance. I either take the flight and go to State College with no Airbnb and do nothing there, or I just am out $165. So I got to buy the insurance.
Hang out at Champs for the whole weekend.
Colin, hang on, Colin. Let's get something straight. C-Cat is traveling to the Big Ten championship this year and rooting for his team to lose.
Not true.
So he can go to State College and not waste a trip.
Hold on. In your position, I would be rooting for them to lose.
It's an emotion. Well, like, to win a national championship, okay, yes, we all can agree, and Reese Davis has talked about it. It's a known fact that it's better to be the 5 seed than the 1 seed. Outside of that, from a personal standpoint, I am willing to pay $165 for Penn State to win a Big Ten championship. And that's what I would lose.
The flight was only $165?
Yeah, direct Fort Lauderdale to Philly. So, like, all right.
Round trip?
Yeah.
Wow. Good price. All right, so it's not as bad, but you got to get $20 extra for travel insurance. You could have avoided this whole thing. If you did, see, you're missing the point of the story. We turned this into Penn State, whether it's win or lose. This should be about you not getting travel insurance on a cheap flight that you knew wasn't a guarantee.
I blame Ryan Day.
That's true.
I blame Ryan Day.
I didn't even consider it a possibility that Penn State could be playing for a Big Ten championship, let alone win a Big Ten championship at about, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock on Saturday.
Well, here we are. You got hashtag Ryan Day. It's happened to me for the last 4 years.
We'll see. Here's a better than yesterday I'll include Mike on this one as well because we need some help.
Yeah.
And it's in the youth basketball realm of things. We got our 5th game tonight, and 8:30 tip-off. 0-4, worst differential in the league.
Stop. You went deep diving into the stats. As a coach, we can't do that stuff.
No. There's a big coaches chat.
Yeah, plus minuses for you guys.
I'll tell you right now. I got the whole thing right here. So, yeah, we're at the bottom. We're 0-4. We've scored 133 points, and we've given up 180. That is a minus 47 differential.
That's not that bad.
It's not that bad. because we play well on Saturdays, and on Wednesdays, we get absolutely destroyed.
So you're
what day
better
is it
than
today?
yesterday.
It's Wednesday. Colin, it's Wednesday.
What day is it today? It's Wednesday. I'm a little nervous.
Now,
but we play a team that's 1-3, also a bad differential. So this is the type of game need to get in the win column. That's what we need to be better than yesterday at.
By the way, the assistant coach was fined some cash because I ran into traffic trying to return the gear from PGA National last night. I probably should have just stuck around and went to our practice, which was a minute away from where we were. But I was not at practice last night. So, Colin, what's the head count? Are we going to have kids tomorrow?
We're going to have kids.
Okay.
We got a ringer now, so we got another kid joining the team because we needed.
Was he at practice?
He was, and he's good. So we're gonna use him, and I'm excited to see how he improves the ball handling of the team, and hopefully we don't turn it over 900 times, and we win a game tonight. That's the goal.
My last better than yesterday is me being a producer on Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. I feel like I've come a long way. I've finally, I think, in my opinion, have mastered the art of it. C-Cat, you were the longtime producer before I was. It took me a long time, as Josh knows, but I've really kind of mastered the whole producing Questionable Call thing. So that is my second better than yesterday, is Josh bearing with me as I got a lot better at producing it. And I urge you all to go watch the latest episode. It's on YouTube. Search Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. It'll come right up. And our episode today is talking about the Browns and Jameis Winston. So give JC a follow on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. My last better than yesterday is me being a great producer now. And C-Cat, you could back me up in this. I was pretty bad when I started.
You weren't bad.
Oh, I was awful.
A hard job.
I was awful. Granted, I was thrown into the fire. Naturally, with everything I do, I wouldn't have it any other way. Thrown right into the fire, but I've mastered it now. So, appreciate it.
Going on a diet. That's what I'm doing. Starting Monday.
Hang on. How about this, too? He's got a water bottle now. Hang on. Did you? Hang on. You didn't see this.
Is this a new thing?
He's got a... Remember, he told us he drank how much? Half a glass of water a day?
If I'm lucky, yeah.
Christian now has, it's not one of those bougie Stanleys, but he has a bougie water
How much
container.
water is, do you know, the ounces?
40 ounces are in
That's
it.
a huge water bottle. Okay, so you got to drink, what, 3 of those a day, 4 of those a day?
I think the diet calls for
a gallon a day?
8 cups of water a day.
Yeah, it's a gallon. All right, so you got to get a gallon a day.
And 4 pickle spears. I'm going into what they call ketosis. Shout out Metrum MD.
You're doing ketosis? Wow, so you're going to be fasting.
Not necessarily fasting. It's more so what type of food I won't be eating.
Okay.
So I'll be taking a couple of supplements, make it work. But I'm excited for it, man. The food they have at Metrum MD, it's really good stuff.
So Christian, my cousin was terrible at drinking water as well. What kind of turned him around was literally buying a gallon of water and just pouring it into his cup. And when obviously when it's gone, it's gone. So maybe that will help you or not. But yeah, my cousin literally would buy the gallons every morning at the gas station and just have it with him and pour it into his container. And when it was gone, you knew you were done.
So, CK, let me ask you this. If you're going on a diet and you're starting Monday, what does today through Sunday look like?
Well, it is the purge, man.
I did
You're going
see,
really bad before you go good?
I feel like I'm calling my guy out a lot. I did see like 3 pieces of candy on that piece of table, on that table next to his water bottle.
So you're enjoying yourself. How long is this diet?
I'm just trying to lose a certain amount of pounds, so however long it takes. I talked to Dr. Amaracino at Metrum MD in Palm Beach Gardens, and he hooked me up. He said, listen, you don't want to start your diet before you go to the Big Ten Championship game because it's going to be hard to fly with that stuff. Don't worry about that.
You having to diet if Penn State gets a home game, you should root for Penn State to win this so you don't have to deal with Penn State on a diet. That would be rough.
Now, what's the alcohol?
You just thought about that for the first time.
Ken, I know you're not like you're not like me who has a problem with drinking, but if you were to drink, what would you drink? Because everything is, obviously alcohol is awful for you. There's no way to shake it. But what is is it a Miller Lite?
Right, there's no alcohol in the plan, so it would be cheating whatever I do.
Okay, all right.
Because all the food's provided by Metrum MD.
That answers that. So you can't drink. So, brother, you're actually...
Let's hope for Penn State winning a championship so you can't celebrate with a beer.
Hang on, Colin, he's going on a sober December. from the sounds of it.
Be close to that, I guess so.
Well, we'll be a week into December by the time you're done with this weekend. But all right, good for you, though. I'm curious to see about this process. I think you're going to feel so much better once you get into a routine of it. And but I'm curious about the water part. More importantly, you're going to be going to the bathroom a lot. This is going to be a change of pace.
You're going to be. You're going to be like me. I go to the bathroom every other break.
I think I'm going to put a corner in this room. So I have to run to the bathroom. I'm established the corner.
Could have kept that to yourself, but that was better than yesterday. Presented by Flagstick Golf Performance over there in Boynton Beach. Go check them out. Visit them in person or go to flagstickgolfperformance.com to get all the information you need. That was better than yesterday.
Find a bottle. I won't do a corner. I'll take a bottle. And
even worse, brother. Quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're ahead.
I don't think a bottle's worse.
We'll get to you next
You're
segment.
right. It's disgusting. It's not worse. It's disgusting.
We'll get to you next segment, C-Cat. That was Christian Cat, of course, our producer of this program, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Russo and Rizzo. We close out the program next, send you off into a packed Wednesday. Stick around. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today. Don't miss out on this incredible course. And please, putt responsibly.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
In office, West Palm Beach.
PNC Bank is committed to making a difference in the South Florida community. That's why they offer military banking products, champion veteran-owned businesses, and provide support to local organizations that empower veterans and their families with the resources they need to succeed. PNC Bank. See how they can help you at pnc.com/military. The PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated, all rights reserved. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hey, golf fans, Colin Russo here. Looking to improve your game? Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience, is now open in Boynton Beach. With 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio, Flagstick helps players at all levels up their game. Get lessons from experts, try the latest clubs, or just come up for a round in the simulators. You can track your stats and see real improvement. Flagstick is where serious golfers and beginners find their edge. Bring your friends or family and enjoy golf like never before. Visit flagstickgolfperformance.com to book your session.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Closing out a Wednesday edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3 live from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. Of course, as always, big college basketball tonight. Weirdly enough, it's one of those Wednesdays where they got the conference challenges. College football could take a note out of this book. They got the ACC, SEC challenge. They have the Big 12, Big East challenge. So you got a bunch of out-of-conference matchups that are actually quite interesting tonight. UConn plays tonight, and basically their first big matchup since the Maui meltdown with Dan Hurley. We never really talked about that. Dan Hurley losing his mind, saying he's never going to enter a tournament again. And that whole thing was a whole nightmare. But you got that. You got Marquette, Iowa State tonight. You got Duke, Auburn tonight. You got a bunch of games that are going to be very, very interesting.
I wasn't aware that as embarrassing as this is as a Kentucky fan, I wasn't aware we lost in that SEC, ACC challenge.
Yeah, lost to Syracuse.
Or Clemson.
Clemson, excuse me. Yes,
God,
it was an orange team.
Clemson.
Syracuse got killed by Tennessee.
And I know Clemson was a tournament team last year.
Clemson's good. They beat Penn State, too.
They went on a run. But you hate to be the one to lose in that challenge, right? And I know a lot of people think it's a little overrated. But it used to be the Big Ten and ACC challenge until the Big Ten lost the rights to it. So I like this time of the year, Kyle, when they do these challenges, no?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that the ACC got absolutely dominated by the SEC. The SEC is having a big, big time year. Maybe I was wrong when we talked about that earlier in the year about the SEC being that premier basketball conference. They got a lot of teams this year. So should be interesting there. A couple games to keep an eye on later tonight, which I will be into. Wisconsin lost for the first time.
I was about to say to Michigan.
Michigan's good.
Help Dusty May, former FAU coach.
Yeah, Dusty May, former FAU coach, doing a good job over in Michigan. He's got 2 7-footers, one Russian and one the kid from Yale.
Well,
Danny Wolf.
Vlad was from FAU.
Right. Yeah, it was the Russian, and he very, very good. And they killed Wisconsin. And Danny Wolf, the transfer from Yale, he's a 7-footer that runs the point guard on pick and roll. So they got a little bit of a mismatch. They can't shoot worth anything, and they have no guard play. But they have 2 7-footers, and that is the ultimate win column stat pattern. Is if you have 2, 1, or hopefully 1, but if not 2 good bigs, you should be in good shape on that one. Finally. Another thing, I know this is coming up tomorrow, but with the NFL, kind of rolling on here, one thing that is going to get really, really tricky is now in a couple weeks here, we're going to have all these flexed games in and out, and Denver playing an extra Thursday night game. You're going to have the 2 games on Christmas. I know I'm kind of segueing here.
Good.
But that Christmas game, they got the 2 games on Wednesday, then they got a game on Thursday. And we're going to be seeing more and more NFL because they're going to start dominating each and every day of the week.
They are. And don't we got to go to Netflix for one of them, too?
Netflix is going to be both the Christmas days.
Yep.
And they're going to start having games on Saturdays because there's going to be no college football to compete. And they got Mondays. They're going to have doubleheaders on Mondays without the buys.
I mean, Colin, Monday, December 23rd, Saints at the Packers. And then let me fast forward to week 17 real quick. 1 o'clock on Christmas Day, Chiefs and Squealers. You could find that on Netflix, to Colin's point. And then Ravens and Texans. So you got Monday Night Football, off day Tuesday, and then Christmas, Chiefs and Steelers.
And then
Ravens and Texans.
And on the Saturday before, they also have a doubleheader with the Steelers and the Ravens all flip-flopped in those matchups.
Perfect.
Perfect. They nailed that.
Monday Night Football. Tuesday, no football. Wednesday, the 2 games I mentioned. And then Thursday, you got your prime games, Seahawks and the Bears, which is a stinker.
And then you should have a couple Saturday games, and then you got Sunday. So that talk about dominating the entire week. Unbelievable. Chris, this is going to be the month of the NFL.
Not a basketball holiday anymore.
Oh, my God, definitely not.
They did nice job, Adam Silver.
They're going to have every year. The Wednesday is the worst year to have it, and they're still making it work. Nonetheless, a Wednesday edition of Russo and Rizzo concluding. As always, we'll be at it tomorrow at Hurricane Alley and Bar and Grill. Should be a good time there. Mike and I will be there live on remote. Sending you off into your Wednesday. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay focused. We'll see you next time, 4 to 6 tomorrow. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595.